Welcome to Relationship Coaching. My name is David Uhas. I'm a father of 4 children in their 20s and a certified relationship coach. Additionally, I'm a master hypnotist, a master practitioner in timeline therapy and NLP, and a performance coach. I'll be introducing you to using NLP to improve your family relationships, and all relationships for that matter. NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. NLP, in simple terms, is the study of excellence. Its origins go back to the 1970s. Richard Bandler, a psychology student at UC Santa Cruz, and Dr. John Grinder, an associated professor of linguistics. Bandler modeled the methods of a Virginia Satir and Pearl Fritz, who were extraordinarily effective therapists of their time, as well as many others. But he created the processes drawing from the excellence in others that can be modeled and replicated with incredible effectiveness. If someone has done something successful, so can you by modeling them. Their original intention was to study the principles that governed the language structure and define the techniques and skills used by successful therapists. What they learned became and continues to evolve into NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. N is for neuro, from the brain and neurology. L is for linguistics, from language and communication. P is for programming, from our fascinating behavior patterns and strategies that we consciously and unconsciously run. How we want to utilize NLP with relationships is around our language, tonality, and body language to communicate effectively. NLP is a powerful communication tool with others and with ourselves. Through our 5 senses, we see, hear, feel, taste, and smell the world. Primarily, we experience it through VAK, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, or feelings. We also individually have a dominant sense. 60% of the people are visual dominant. 20% are auditory. 20% are kinesthetic. Additionally, there are submodalities to our senses: bright or dim, loud or soft, sad or happy, sweet or sour. For now, the main thing I want you to focus on is to discover the primary modality for yourself and for others. By identifying and matching primary modalities, this will take you leaps and bounds in your relationships by building rapport. And it's easy to find out. Just listen to the words being used to describe the world around you, and you will hear it in their language, and you will know it when you see it, and you will just get a feeling that you have discovered it. People will communicate using sensory descriptive words like see, hear, or feel, and that will indicate their primary sense they use in the world. And we want to talk and mirror people in that dominant language to build rapport. Here are 3 simple tips to use NLP to improve your family relationships as well as any relationship. Tip number 1, build rapport. Have you ever experienced resistance in a relationship, or even yourself resisting something? Whenever there is a breakdown in a relationship, go back to building rapport. Rapport is fundamental and the foundation of all working relationships and communication. Resistance is only lack of rapport. Here's a simple technique to get in rapport with someone. Mirror and match body language, tonality, and words. People that are like each other like each other. It is absolutely a must that you do it with integrity and with a clear intention that you want to be in rapport with someone because you care for the relationship. Mirror their body language. Mirror their voice tonality. Mirror their language using words that are in their dominant sense, visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. Tip number 2, maintain working relationships by being aware of 3 key elements that are always present in every relationship: communication, commitment, and trust. Here's how it works. Number 1, communication. We just explained rapport, and it is the foundation of communication. If you don't have rapport, you don't have effective communication. Always start with rapport to communicate with your kids, your spouse, or significant other. With communication, 55% is unspoken using body language. 38% is unspoken using tonality. Only 7% of communication is spoken using words. This is why texts and emails get us into trouble. Having a phone conversation is better than a text or email because voice tonality can be heard, but still not as effective as communicating in person. If it is an important conversation, communicate in person. Number 2, commitments. In a relationship, we make promises and commitments. I will take out the trash. I will give you lunch money. I will do the dishes. I will meet you at our favorite restaurant at 7 p.m. Friday night for our anniversary dinner. Then we either keep our promise or we break it, and that then impacts the third element in relationships, trust. We either are building or tearing down trust. Trust is easy to break if we don't keep our commitments, and it is a lot of work to rebuild it, versus keeping commitments. But trust absolutely can be rebuilt. Maintain and keep your commitments, and this builds strong trust and healthy relationships, and the ability to speak into others listening, even when it is tough love and painful. Tip number 3, the last tip using NLP with the relationships, unsticking people and relationships from the past. I literally interrupt people and say, moving forward. This helps move others to a working future. When family relationships are in breakdown, it is because something that happened in the past. Sometimes we just want that other person to play their part in the relationship as we think they should. Maybe even generate expectations without clearly defined commitments made. When we confront the other person on the offense, they can go into a story or the drift of the reasons they broke a commitment and not being accountable to the choices they made that were the direct cause of the outcome they got. My dog ate my homework. I was talking to my boss and I didn't pay the parking meter, and that's why I got my car towed. First of all, we want to be impeccable with our own word. The only thing we control in this world, I'll repeat that because it's that important. The only thing we control in this world is our choices. We do not control others' choices. Therefore, our best chance at influence over others is being impeccable with our word, keeping our commitments, and building deep and strong trust. And we have to walk the talk. We teach others how to treat us by how we treat each other and what we allow. When a relationship is in breakdown and not working, I always start with building rapport. Even if I do not feel like it, it is easier to maintain a relationship as they happen instead of avoiding and being overgrown with weeds from lack of rapport, broken promises, not calling people on accountability, and trust not being rebuilt. Here are 3 suggestions to move forward. Number 1, clearly state and discuss the commitment that was broken, what was expected, and what happened instead. Number 2, avoid the story or the drift. This can be a huge time waster, an emotional vampire, and be counterproductive and flat-out ineffective waste of time. We cannot change the past, and dwelling there does not have value except for a brief, what other choices could you have made or resources were there that you could have used to support you. Number 3, here is the important part that is usually missed, the language of moving forward. When we call people on their stuff, we don't want to leave them there, trapped in the past, expressed through our language. We don't want to potentially convince people they are their past, because no one is their past. In any moment, we all have the possibility and ability to make new choices in the present moment, in the now, and set a new path, moving forward in an entirely new direction with an entirely new outcome. When people hear you are incompetent or ignorant, untrustful, afraid, stupid, making bad choices, unreliable, etc., they can go from guilt to shame, or from thinking to knowing they are that. They are future pacing themselves or hypnotizing themselves to who they see themselves to be. We want to move them forward in their vision and how they see themselves into a successful future. Humans have a concept of time, consciously and unconsciously, how we think about time and what tense of time affects us. We don't want to leave people trapped in the past in our relationships. We want to acknowledge and resolve the past, let it go, and then move forward. Not only move forward figuratively, but literally. Imagine the future, the commitments kept, the choices made, the desired outcomes, and the trust built. What does it look like? What does it sound like? And what does it feel like? And, in the present tense, in the imagined future. In NLP, this is called future pacing, imagining the successful future, seeing, hearing, and feeling that successful experience as if you are already there. Our unconscious mind cannot distinguish between a real or imagined event. It is critical that we imagine a successful future. It has been discovered scientifically that our unconscious mind makes choices before our conscious mind is aware of it. When we clearly command our subconscious mind through future pacing, and we see the pathway and achieving it, how it feels to be there, hear that success, our subconscious mind believes it and sets out to make the choices, acts upon it, and moves us toward it. The unrestfulness of where we are in the present and the declared where we want to be in the future instead is a power motivational tool using cognitive dissonance. From Wikipedia, in the field of psychology, cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort, psychological stress experienced by a person who simultaneously holds two or more contradictory beliefs, ideas, or values.